you doing?
I'm doing good. Thanks for meeting with me again.
No worries. No worries.
Yeah.
Stuff
Hmm.
happens.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, how are you?
I'm good. So
Hmm.
tell me your seeking story and what got you here. The standard question.
Yeah. Um, my seeking story.
Mhm,
I mean, what got me here right now is, yeah, just trying to devour everything and anything that I can around waking up.
yeah.
Um, and so reading every book, watching every YouTube video. Um, I started going to retreats recently and yeah, I found your videos and have been, you know, it's like, oh, a giant wellspring of new to watch.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think I feel like waking up is the most important thing that I can do with this life.
Mhm,
Um, it I had an experience with 5-MeO DMT
mhm.
about 2 years ago, and that kind of kicked off this. I grew up Roman Catholic. My first job was at a church. I lived next to a church. My family were lectors. Like it is, we were like in it. Um,
Same
and
here, Roman Catholic too.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and it was a thing that kind of consumed. It was a big part of my life for a long time, and then had an experience. Had an experience that kind of uh, just basically broke the illusion of that of like God is this kind of character in the sky that is basically like grown-up Santa Claus. Um, yeah, it really broke that, and I had a falling out and kind of became this militant atheist for a really long time until about 2 years ago when I had yeah, this like experience with Bufo that it made it very clear that like this is not this is not all there is.
Hmm.
Um, and I don't know what to call it, but had this experience of what you know, don't have anything other to call it than being God, and getting this sense of like, oh, okay, God is choosing to be Andrew right now, and yeah, that set off this, very long journey into. I joined a Zen Sangha, started meditating. I had meditated on and off before that, but now it was like, okay, I'm doing this.
Hmm.
This is my goal is to be able to realize this state of being all the time.
Yeah. So what have you listened to and what books have you read so far? Or
Man,
have
how
you?
much time you have? Um, yeah, I had been doing koan work with my Zen teacher for a while.
Mhm.
I've read so many of Adyashanti's books, and there's a guy named Don Oakley out in Tennessee that I've really appreciated his work and a bunch of things that have led me to Nisargadatta and Krishnamurti and um, yeah, and then through YouTube finding Angelo DeLillo and devouring everything from him, and then that also led me to you, and then devouring everything from you. Um, yeah, doing a lot of. I mean, now I go in and out of states of like okay, I'm gonna meditate, and then I get into states of like, oh, what is this all for? And this like, how do I even know this is real anyway?
Yeah,
Um,
yeah,
and then, back to and so, meditating and doing self-inquiry and so many things.
yeah.
Yeah.
And you've done retreats as well now, right? So,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, not
Ah,
long ones. I have a limited amount of vacation time through my work, and so, I
okay.
sneak them in and sneaking in sick time when it's actually retreat time and things like that.
Yeah.
But now too, like um, my fiance is pregnant, and so we're expecting a baby in
Oh,
April, and so that's gonna,
congratulations.
thank you, yeah,
Wow.
that's gonna cut down on the amount of time that I have to do retreats.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, and so.
Well, the end of seeking is really simple,
mm,
but it just depends on the character. You know what I'm saying? If they're still addicted to that seeking
mm,
of the next, that wanting to know, wanting to get to somewhere, right? So if that addiction is active, um, then it almost kind of like denies or rejects what's being expressed here. I'm not
mm,
trying to talk about something really mystical, or I'm just really going bare bones, really raw, unfiltered way of um, communicating what can't be communicated, so to speak. And if you've seen my videos, you've heard my story. So I've gone from the corporate ladder into the spiritual ladder, the enlightenment ladder, that kind of thing. And yeah, it was interesting to see this through and to see that there's nothing really to realize. The realization that there's nothing to realize.
mm,
It can be anticlimactic, but it's actually really there's a contentment.
mm.
It's almost like I've turned all the stones and left me just wanting more. I'm like, okay, so after all the stones have been turned, then what's next? Do I have to count all the stars? I was one of those. I was very gung ho. I was one of those severe, intense seeker. Did the ashrams, did the you name it, basically. I don't need to repeat it because you probably heard it. I don't know how many videos you've seen of mine, but you get the gist of the story, basically, right?
Yeah,
So it boils down to this: what do you believe at this very instance? If you cannot you cannot make a reference to the past or the future.
I'm here. Something's happening
Yeah, yeah. So if you take away the I am, what's left?
here.
Yeah. If you take away, what are you without that language at this moment? What are you without language at this very second?
Silence.
Yeah.
And
So there's a very direct silence that's often missed or misinterpreted as something to attain in the next, but it's always here. It's very direct. It is timeless, you can call it that. It's without time, without thought, without belief, but that's just more stories. So if you take away, if you can show me a word that's not made up, what's that?
there's nothing.
Yeah, so if all words are made up, everything that you think about is made up. So the past is made up, the future is made up, but there's something here that cannot be made up. That's why they call non-duality unspeakable, unknowable, ineffable, and all that kind of stuff. It's just right here. It's what's here. Or rather, because the mind will say not here, so it's between here and not here. It's an immediacy that cannot really be spoken. It's distorted by language, by words, by beliefs, by thoughts. But it can't be distorted really because it's always here. So what is being presented is almost like a subtraction. Because the more that you've noticed that the more that you learn about non-duality, there's a new idea about it. There's a different take about it. And then there seems to be a confusion or a contradiction that happens all the time. But if every single word is made up, then what's to believe? It's just really being raw, honest about what's here, right? Is in this immediacy, there's this peace that passes all understanding, but it's been almost contaminated by language. So what I do is just present it in its rawness.
How do you stay there? Like,
If you take away the next, what's there to stay? What are you without the next? So the mind will keep on trying to figure this out or fight this or whatever, or try to take over, right? But the mind can only operate in almost like a horizontal way, or a linear way. So what if you go vertical? What if you're just right here?
Come vertical.
Yeah. Without time, without past or future, just right here. This is like an instant sobriety from all of the concepts. The mind wants to get intoxicated by trying to propose something in the past so that it can take you to the future. But if you take away the past and the future, something is very obvious here. Not for the mind.
I'm just basically meditating.
Well, what are you even without the meditation? What are you without the observer? What if life can just become always like this? Without the practice. I'm not against practice. I'm not pro practice. I was a meditation teacher for 10 years. I no longer teach it because it just reinforces that there's something in the next, that there's a state, right? It just reinforces the seeking that there's something. What if this is met over and over again directly without the influence of the mind? So the mind will try to influence you, try to create the narrative out of this. So what's between knowing and not knowing? What's between getting and not getting? What's between duality and non-duality? See, the language cannot escape duality because it's designed to have an opposite, right? So what if you pull back the curtain of words and what's left?
Can't answer you.
Yeah, beautiful. Before you say got it, what's between I got it and I lost it? Because this is what happens, right? When this clarity is always here, this is always here. Like, when you're running, when you probably were first falling in love with your wife, you know what I'm saying? You're seeing that clarity, right? It's almost like everything silences. Or, in a movie, or when something's about to happen, something big, there's a silence that happens to create that tension. But what if that silence is always here? That isness, or whatever you might want to call it, but don't even call it silence or isness, because that will just create another mark or another chapter in the mind, right? So some people will call this consciousness, some people will call this awareness, some people will call this, self, some people will call this nothing, or no me, or no self, but they're always proposing an opposite. Then you have to be aware of awareness, which is just next. Then you have to drop away the me, which is just next. Then you have to have another awakening after the first awakening, which is just the next. So I've been in the spirituality, non-duality circles for quite a while. And it is futile, but you know what? It is the end of seeking is here. It does not require any belief. Or you can also say, well, we're going to use the God word, right? What if you've been staring at God all this time, but you're just calling it different names or seeking different names for it?
Mm.
But it's been here all along, but you can't even call it God because the mind creates an imprint of what that is. But if everything is what we can't say already, what's looking and what's being looked at, so what's between the observer and the observed? How are you doing, by the way? You're awfully silent there.
Yeah, this is an internal exploration going on.
Mhm.
Um,
What do you without that observer?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Mm.
The mind will try to fight it and say that this is not it.
Yeah,
So what's between this is it and this is not it?
like uh, yeah, there's no it,
Yeah.
but I don't feel different.
Well, it has nothing to do with you.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So that's the thing, right? So you have to get out of the way. So what this is a gradual unfolding for some people. For some people, it's kind of like a surprise because, but it's going to be different for every single character.
Mm.
So some people, it's like, some people, it's very kind of like anticlimactic. So, for example, if you're more coming from a spiritual, like you grew in an ashram, or you come from that Eastern philosophy, that more like a Hindu kind of like background, then you will call this as Brahman, as consciousness or awareness. If you're coming from a nihilistic or an atheist, then you will call this nothing. But they're trying to point at the same thing, but the words get in the way.
Yeah, like every there is an immediacy to um yeah, like there does feel like there's this obviousness,
Hmm.
immediacy to right now when they're like I feel like I can touch into these moments of there's no past, there's no
Yeah,
future,
yeah.
and even like who the hell is Andrew?
Yeah, yeah. Well, if you see it, it's like, when you wake up in the morning before the Andrew kicks in,
Yeah.
and before you go to sleep, before the Andrew signs off, basically, right? So it's always here is before Andrew and after Andrew.
Yeah.
And if you take
And
away
it
the past and the future, where's Andrew? It's just a thought, really, if you look at it.
Mhm. Yeah.
It's a thought that became a belief that became a sense of identity, an identity now that becomes a truth. But if every single word is made up, even thinking that that's true or not true, it's all made up too. Because to declare that there is truth, then that there has to be a false. And despite what you might hear in the story, there are no such things as levels as well. In story form, there are, right? Because I kept on encountering this over and over again. The first one was wow, like I had many, many glimpses. Then I had the giant one. Um, I was I saw everything as God. That's the way that I presented it, maybe about 15 or 17 years ago. Of course, when I started holding on to that thought, then I thought that I had to maintain it now. That I have to be, I have to do a lot of purification to maintain this grace that was bestowed on my eyes and everything, right? The way that I saw it. That just led to more suffering because it was just a maintenance of something that the Emerson now have held captive of this moment as an enlightenment moment. But there are no such thing as moments. You can also say that everything is already enlightened. You just think it's not, or you think it is.
Mhm.
But when you think it is, you will also think that it's not. When you think that this is it, you'll also think that this is not. Because the nature of the illusion is this duplicitous, right? So there's always going to be a dichotomy. But if you go in between what's between this and not this, the mind can't go there. Andrew can't go there. So what's revealed in it in a very, very subtle way, very soft way, is what always is. Because Andrew will claim that God is seeing through me, you know what I'm saying? But there's really no Andrew. There's just another, it's just all what we can talk about.
It's all what we can talk about. Just
What we
like the,
can't talk about, we can't talk about it. Yeah, because language is fabrication.
yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
It just matters on how much investment do you have on Andrew. If you're ready to surrender it, you know what I'm saying? When you see it just right here, when you go directly into this one, where's the Andrew to surrender even? It's almost like we get addicted to the time-based idea of what we are, that we neglect or we overlook the timelessness of what we can think of what we are. Does that make sense?
Yeah, like we're so lost in the memories of
Yeah,
it that we forget
yeah.
the present.
Hmm. Because if it's so simple, if it's already awake, why can it be shown over and over again? So
Yeah.
that's all I'm doing. It's just really taking away the veils that seems to separate. What this is not adding more information.
At at a certain point, does it get easier to stay in that place?
It's always here for this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But there's still like falling back into the dream of Andrew over and
Well,
over and over again.
when you say that the falling back into the dream over and over again is just a story, then its weight will start loosening a little bit. It will become more weightless. There it is again, right? It's almost like when you see that the dance is the movement of Andrew is just all a fabrication. It's like sobering up. The intoxication of the mind wears off, right? So you're like, oh, it's 10 days of sobriety, 20 days, 30 days, I got my 90-day chill, kind of thing. The
Mm.
thought addict, right? So And unfortunately, you know what? I'm not trying to make this better than anything else. This is just a sober take on it. Listening to more, buying more books, going to retreat is just feeding the intoxication of that thought. Then all of a sudden you're going to miss your baby, you know what I'm saying? Because you're going to retreats nonstop. It becomes your priority when the priority is right here, whatever's in front of you. Not what you think, not what the next carrot is being presented, not the next level of enlightenment, because that's just another fabrication. Because if you start listening to it, it's really contradictory. If there's no time, how could there be levels? If there's no time, how could there be a self? If there's no time, how could there be enlightenment in the next?
Mm.
Then life just becomes really ordinary. It's extraordinary, you know what I'm saying? When you're walking through the woods, looking at, you know, my nephews and nieces, playing with my dog, it becomes ordinary. I don't have any position of a special one or something. I don't even meditate, but I'm not against meditation
Mm.
because there's always, it's always like this. I tried the ultra, you know, enlightened version of this, of becoming a teacher, doing, you know, satsangs and that kind of stuff. It's suffering
Mm.
because now you've created that I'm enlightened and you're not. It's another separation. It's just another dream, right? So it's like taking all of that veil, that there's nothing different between this and that. There's actually no separation from this and that. It's just words. There's not even a this and that if you look at it.
It's just this.
Mm-hmm. I don't even like using that word anymore. Becomes a new religion. Yeah. Some people capitalize the letter T now because the intellectual wants to always grab something and intellectualize it. And I was good at that. I was good at doing poetry about this and everything. And I'm like, but I noticed that no one was getting out. My audience was getting larger, but no one was getting out, right? But somehow these one-on-ones are very direct. It takes away the pedestal. Although some people might, still put me on a pedestal and everything. But I always remind them that that's just another belief, thought. It's made up.
Yeah, there's definitely still this feeling of like, oh, but there's something that he's got that that is allowing, you know, it's like the reason that I'm here. And it's,
No, no, that's just another belief, right? It will never stop, right? So even if you think that you got enlightened, if you think that there's still another, then there's always going to be another. When I thought that I got it, then I would be seeing like Adyashanti or Eckhart. I'm like, do they have something more that I don't? They just have more words. And if all words are made up, my words and their words are all made up. That's why I don't do the Q&A anymore, because it just perpetuates that there's someone that knows here. When I can really admit here, truly admit that no one knows anyone, including me, especially me. There's a full-on admission here. But there's a clarity that's beyond language that's being expressed here. Not trying to go, woo-woo or anything like that, right? But it's always here. You see it in babies. You look at it, your dogs, right? There's always something. Look at trees. When the thoughts go away, it doesn't matter what it is. So there's no more individuals, so to speak. There's no more others. The thoughts will continue its run of beginnings and endings. And you and I, and you know, situations are still going to show up. Like there was sadness when I saw my brother, you know what I'm saying, in the hospital just a couple of days ago, right? And
Mm,
today, right? But that is not owned by anyone anymore. It's just a feeling. It's not a dissociation, right? Because a dissociation is a um, or a what do you call it again? A bypassing. My life actually is more full now.
mm,
If you sit by me at a theater and it's a comedy, I laugh out really, really loud now, right? So there's no more filters. And I jump off my seat if there's a jump scare movie. There's more authenticity. There's more realness of what's happening. There's no more enlightenment mask or hat or anything, right? There's just the ordinariness of life. But there's contentment
mm.
because I don't see a next. I don't see a past. And before you say, how do I do that? You can also see it if you start seeing that the words are all made up, then every single thing, every single thought, every single memories, you're gonna start seeing like, oh, that too. And even what you're seeing, am I really seeing a tree? Is there an eye seeing? Then that fog, you know what I'm saying, of um, knowing starts to disappear, right? It just becomes this never-ending unknowing. It's
Mm.
almost like the mind is a hoarder. It hoarded a whole bunch of concepts, ideas, language. Kind of like what you say, oh, fresh stuff. You know what I'm saying? But I'm not adding anymore. It's kind of like I'm one of those guys. Kind of like, okay, there's nothing to see here. Turn around. Going to seeking will just cause more suffering.
Hmm.
Your wife is probably wondering, when is the seeking going to stop?
Oh,
I'm not sure, but the people that I usually encounter are grateful when the end of seeking happens.
uh, yeah, there's definitely a confusion on her part of like
Yeah,
what I'm trying to do.
yeah, yeah. Did she grow up? Does she listen to any of this stuff right now?
Yeah, I mean, she's part of medicine communities and studying to be a therapist, and like there's a clear like touch point with spirituality. But I think she jokes about the idea of enlightenment, like after every time that I meditate in the mornings, like when I go back and say hi to her after she wakes up, she's like, "Are you enlightened yet?" And it's this joke of like, what are you trying to do, you know?
I have person that I did one-on-ones with maybe more than a year ago. He does what I'm doing now, so he's starting his own videos and channels and that kind of stuff. And his girlfriend um wants to write a book of how to live with an enlightened boyfriend.
It's
Yeah.
I forget who was it. Was it Ram? I don't think it was Ram. It might have been Ram Dass. No, um, no, it's somebody different. But the term was yeah. My mom, she doesn't like my Buddhism, but she loves when I'm the Buddha. Um, yeah.
Yeah, life becomes a little more gentler and softer, right? So I was just talking to someone that um the drama series has ended, right? Like 9 years ago. I kept on it was more than 9 years ago, maybe about 20 years ago, but I kept on reviving it, you know, renewing it. Like a mini series that just kept on going and going and going and going.
Hmm. the drama series,
The drama series, like a Netflix show,
like
like they have 20 episodes or something.
yeah.
Yeah, and it keeps on getting renewed. So it finally got canceled about 9 years ago, and it's just been really peaceful.
Hmm.
The
This
drama
is
still shows up, but I don't. There's no more engagement to it.
hmm.
It's like I finally break into character, and I saw like speaking from the fourth wall now, breaking the fourth wall. Um, this is what it seems like, right? So it's like seeing through that masterpiece of an illusion. Well played. If you think of the language, where's the illusion?
Hmm. The mind keeps finding language for it.
So what are you without the mind? What are you without that observer?
I don't know. It
Yeah,
feels like it's always been here.
yeah. Where's the I that doesn't know? Where's the I?
Yeah, this is just this feeling of like this can't be it.
Mm-hmm. What are you without that observation?
Is it just doing this over and over and over and over again?
Well, you're trying to go to the next again. What are you without that language? I usually find this with people that are meditators, is that they're trying to look for that big jackpot. The jackpot's right here. If the jackpot is that there's no next and there's no past, then it's always a jackpot here. Because they invested so much. When I put in about 10,000 hours of meditation, I started becoming a meditation teacher. And I graduated 500 meditation teachers under my teacher trainings. And it was not enough still, because there's always a next, a next, a next, right? And I had these panic attacks and anxiety that was perpetuated by trying to, okay, maybe I need to meditate 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours. Maybe I need to do this technique. Maybe I need to do breath work. Maybe I need to do inquiry. It's just feeding the mind over and over again, right? So it's almost like it's feeding that addiction. Nothing wrong with it. You know what I'm saying? If that's what you do. But what if you get out of the way? I'm not saying that there's no you or there's a you. Those are just both thoughts, right? What's between you and not you?
There's nothing to answer with.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to stay here and keep from falling back into the mind. It feels like trying to
Go.
balance something on a pin.
Just stay here in this verticalness. Don't go horizontal, right? It's almost like riding a bike. You don't have to do anything. You don't have to try to stay. The more that you try to stay, the more that you fall off the bike, basically. The more that you get into your mind. It's like walking, right? You're not trying to think left, right, feet first. You know, it's just what's ordinary. It's just like breathing. Just take away the past and the future, then what's left? I have people that have been seeking for 50, 60 years that have seen all the masters, right? And the simplicity of this just cuts that seeking right away. But there's almost like in the story, there's almost has to be a that you're sick, you're tired of it. If you're not tired of it, you keep on going. You'll keep on thinking this is not it, only to come back here again. There's someone that did this, and when the ashram wrote, had this clarity, and I kind of had a feeling because they're like, well, this can't be it. So spent like a year in the ashram, did the whole darshan thing, which is just sitting by guru. A year later, came back and said, okay, I've done that and I'm ready now to sober up, basically. If the mind wants to still get intoxicated, it will. But he wants sobriety, if he wants clarity, if he wants contentment, it's right here. But if it's buying, what some teachers or speaker are saying, I'm not trying to fault them. They're just trying to speak about something. But the mind will try to make what's being said into a next, an attainment, a goal. So what if there are no goals? What if there are no carrots?
What do you do with this life?
You go to the next again.
Do I just sit here until I die?
You're going to the next again. Then life becomes sober. There's, like I play the piano, I walk my dog. There's just no more drama. It's the same thing, but it's just the burden of the next is not here anymore. The weight of seeking disappears, right? There's a growing contentment, like an unfolding happiness, basically, or a peace that passes all understanding. Because I was such a severe, like at one point, I could not even get out of bed because I was just so caught up in, I was just neurotic about seeking. All I could do, I got to a point that I thought I lost it. I had it. And then I went into an overdrive of seeking that my life was just became unmanageable, just like an addict, basically. Right. So when it cleared up for me, it was just, it snapped. Everything snapped. All the past and the future. Just, I'm like, oh, I'm just trying to save you from a lot of trip of suffering, right? Or going to the dark night of the soul, because you will put this into priority. The mind will put this into priority over your family, just like any addiction, over work, everything, basically. This becomes the focal point. But the cruel joke is you will never find it in the next. It's just right here.
Hmm.
Just a straight talk about this.
It feels like there's nothing to say.
Mm-hmm. The best thing about this is try to see the word without words. Try to see everything without language. And again, this is just a story, but the more that this piece settles in, right, then the mind becomes irrelevant. The Andrew becomes just a thought, which it is. The past and the future are just basically like temptations to get trapped into that wheel of seeking again. The imaginary friend takes over with a vengeance.
Like remembering, like you got it, but remember. So I'll be here.
What's that?
I'll be here, and then realize that I'm thinking. Like realize that, and there's like a forgetting of the now, and then
What's between the now and the not now? What's between thinking and not thinking?
mind just kind of scrambles.
Mm-hmm. You can't go there.
It's just a frustration that I can't go there.
What if you get out of the way? What are you trying? Where are you trying to go? If there's no next, if there's the next is a thought, isn't it? Right? The past is a thought, isn't it? So where's there to go? The mind doesn't like this, right? Because it puts it into out of the job basically.
There's this feeling of like, well, that's boring.
according to the mind, right? So
Yeah.
he wants to get back in there. Yeah, it's never boring actually without it. It's alive. It's unfiltered. He has nowhere to go. It's like it's getting checkmate all the time, right? Where can it go without the past and the future? What can it know without language? What can it figure out without with when the words are all made up?
Yeah. The checkmating analogy is, it feels like relevant.
It's like playing chess with stillness. Every time that you make a move, even mental move, is checkmate.
Yeah, I see.
Mhm.
Mine keeps wanting to come in and ask questions
Yeah.
about what it's like to teach this and, all these random irrelevant questions of
You can. It's okay. I don't mind.
yeah, no, I
Yeah.
get that, but it's the same thing. It's like, well, okay, that uh
It's trying to find a way. Well, how do I get there? Kind of thing.
how
Yeah.
do I become relevant again?
Yeah.
Is
Yeah.
basically like the mind is like, okay, well that didn't work. Let me try this instead.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
maybe maybe we're curious about
At
what
one point, I wanted to do a cross reference to what all of these masters were doing, and then not out of arrogance, but just from clarity, I saw that all of it are made up. So I threw all my books and like, okay, oh my goodness, what the hell? It's like waking up, like, and then you see that it's just all squiggles and lines, right? You're like, what? So all of this memorized text scriptures that I have held on to for a long, long time, right? It's like the again, this is just a story. It's like the second phase of like, so you have this belief in God, in Roman Catholic. I used to pray the Rosary. I used to sing to God, Yahweh. I went to Catholic school, um, and then there was something off with the belief system, and then you become an atheist, which happened to me, right? So and then but I found that but there was still seeking that was happening. Does life doesn't really have any meaning? Surely there has to be some meaning, right? So it's between purpose and no purpose. It's between meaning and no meaning. So I went into spirituality and I went full tilt on spirituality. I meditated um like no tomorrow basically, and I thought I mastered it. So I went into teacher trainings, and I was teaching Eastern philosophy, Advaita Vedanta, you name it, right? But even the knowledge of all of that, and you think that you're above a lot of people because they're asking you questions about what karma is and what dharma is and what this is and what that is, and but all you have is really knowledge, and all of these knowledge are just all made up. You get caught getting caught up in a belief system. Then I would jump into another belief system because I'll figure that one out as to like that doesn't make sense. And then you go into another thing. I'm like, that did not really liberate me. I just thought I was liberated. And then you go to another one. And then you go to radical. You know what I'm saying? Which is just another belief. There's no me. There's a self, and where does it stop? So when I threw away all my books, there was just this, okay, oh my goodness, right? It's like throwing all of your drug paraphernalia. So it's just all of those stuff that gets you high. And then somewhat without any influence from others and influence from words and beliefs and everything, life just started getting clearer and clearer. There were some residues, I have to admit, right? Of like, okay, this person's saying the clearest about it. And then you start noticing that, oh my goodness, that's just another belief. That they actually believe what they're saying.
Hmm.
Because when this clarity kind of like, appeared, or, that when this directness, it was just a complete kind of like, oh wow. Because I was so caught up in my belief system. I had so many. I was meditating, I was doing mantra, I was doing inquiry, I was, saying there's no me, I was listening to radical. It was just like I was I had to quit everything to so that I could seek, I was like that Russell Crowe character in Beautiful Mind. I was like looking at all the books, and I thought I was a scholar with this, right? I memorized all of the Bhagavad Gita and a lot of the Gitas, the Upanishads, right? And the Buddhist books and all that kind of stuff. It was just never ending knowledge and everything. But I didn't know that the one that was knowing was all made up. So the one that knows is made up. So all it knows is made up. If you go really, really to the root of it, right? And I can sit on a perch, like preaching or talking about what enlightenment or non-duality is. Um, but it's just adding more information to people.
Hmm.
But what if you go into the immediacy and the directness of this, where but it's just beyond words and time and everything? It's right here, always available. But the mind creates this narrative of, oh, this is not it. It's too simple, or it's too easy, or I can't seem to maintain this. So we'll create contradictory statements about this to convince you that you are you.
Hmm.
So the you lives, you know what I'm saying? In a perpetual, next, 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 next. It's to feed that you in the past, to keep a ghost alive, basically.
Hmm.
Then you have sequels and part twos and part three and ad infinitum, basically. Ad nauseum. So the end of seeking is here. It's not in the next. It's not in the past. It's not derived from an idea of the past to take to the next.
There's like willpower in staying here, and then there's also the willpower is a thought.
It is, yeah. If you have a lot of stuff in your house, this is like a cleaning up. It's almost like unhoarding, right? It looks like you've hoarded a lot of ideas, right? So it's just an unhoarding. So it's a gradual unhoarding of a lot of things. When you start seeing it, that it's, oh, it's just a thought.
Hmm.
You can still hear teachers and speakers that it's just a thought, but they'll somehow contradict it with a truth. You know what I'm saying? If everything is a thought, isn't awareness or consciousness just a thought? Then it is.
Hmm.
If it's too simple, why are you creating a labyrinth out of this, right? Just go directly.
I want to say like just drop everything at the it's
Drop
just
everything here now. Now do the next. Now. Whatever shows up, almost surrender it. Be at peace with it. The letting go is here, not in the next.
okay.
Okay. Usually, I usually suggest a follow up.